Good morning. So, today's job is something actually been quite looking forward to we've had it booked in now for a week or a couple of weeks or so. I'm quite looking forward to it because we're doing something which we don't often get to do right now, which is rip out a combi and then put in a system boiler and an unvented cylinder. So, as you can see, it's not a small house. I think it's 4 or 5 bedrooms and 3 or 4 bathrooms, something like that. And they're running a combi at the moment and it's driving the guy nuts. And it was a really interesting quote, this one, actually, because it was one of those where we started, the guy wanted efficiency. That was what he wanted above all else. He wanted it as efficient as possible. So we priced up all sorts of fun gizmos and gadgets and a Mixer G cylinder, and which I might do a video on because I think they're quite cool. Not sure I totally believe in the tech yet, but still to be proven. So we started there, and then obviously money talks, and unfortunately that was all a little bit too much. So we've come down a little bit. So we've got a 4,000 30 kilowatt system boiler going in, and then we're going to 4-pipe it, so give priority domestic hot water, and then we've got a 180 litre Gled Hill unvented cylinder going in. So I'll go in now, walk you around. Boys have been here first thing this morning, ripped out half the utility room. That's the other thing I'm quite excited about. We might actually have some nice space to work with, and everything's in this utility room, so it's ideal. So I'll take you in now, we'll show you what we're going to do, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're changing from the GoPro because I can't get the fucking thing to turn on. Joys. Right, so we've got a lovely little side access. Vans are just down there, which is fantastic. So let me flip you. Well, I want to see if I can do it like this. So here is our big backseat combi boiler. She's coming out, not today. So the idea is to try and keep them with heating hot water overnight, and then to fit the cylinder today, get all the pipe work in, all that fun stuff, and then tomorrow we'll do a drain down and the changeover. This is our cylinder. So obviously we've got underfloor heating here, which is the whole of downstairs, except for that room just the other side of that wall, which has got radiator in it. I don't really understand why. Guy was having, let me flip you around, I'll show you. Guy's having issues controlling lots of stuff because obviously the underfloor heating has no zone control. Perfect. This is the flow and the return just down there for that radiator that's just the other side of that wall. And then the rest of the upstairs is all just totally unzoned and uncontrolled. So it's just chaos to me. It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, we have got 4 Hive Minis that are going to wire into that. We have got Hive Smart TRV heads that are going to go onto all the radiators. And like I said to you before, we are 4-piping this with an internal diverter, which I will talk you through when we do, on the 4000, which rather than going there, which is awkward for everybody, it's going to go there, but we're going to use the same flue hole and everything else is the same. We've got nice mains is coming in here. They've already got the water conditioner in, which they are keeping. So it's going to look a little something like that. Obviously this is going to go closer to the wall. Just spoken to the customer because he does want to use this area here, what I have left for the utility room. So we're going to take some hot and colds that were here for a sink. We're going to bring them, extend them across. We're going to extend our waste pipe across as well, so that they can be connected at a later date. So, but yeah, we've got a nice little space to work with. Customer wants to leave this on, which is just plastic sheeting. I don't really know why, but it doesn't really matter. So the aim of the game today is to get the cylinder installed, get all of our PRVs done, get our hot and colds all in and connected, and we'll lever them off so that they can continue to use the combi overnight, and then we're ready to do a changeover tomorrow. So I'm going to try and set you up on a time lapse. Let's see how we get on. Wish us luck. Okay, so GoPro died, I don't know when. I'll find that out in the edit. So, apologies, it's a bit disjointed, but we're gonna have more fun tomorrow once we start getting the boiler in and going through the internal diverter kit and all the fun that comes along with that. So, let me flip you around, show you what we've done so far. All right, Dan. Here he is. Right, so we've taken our hot and cold to the waste across here. We've just put the washing machine trap on, obviously stopping the smells coming up. So that's there ready for when the customer wants to, I don't know, put a washing machine here or a sink or whatever they want to do. We've got 2 hot and colds there and a waste, so it's first fixed, sort of. Sam is just finishing off the PRV. So this is our cold main coming up here. We put a drove off because it didn't have one. Taking it up, through our combi valve, yada yada yada, all plugged in. And this is actually now filled. So we filled, so we tested it at pressure, and then we've isolated it, so because that is still live. And then these 2 here are our coils, so it's our flow and our turn for the boiler. We've also put some air vents on because that can be an absolute pig of a job. So we've tried to keep it as tight as we can to the wall. The customer's happy with where it is, and then obviously the new boiler is twisting and going on that wall. So it's not. Would I rather it was slightly further in? Yes, but the customer's happy, and it is what it is. It's a utility room at the end of the day. I think the units came out further than the wall anyway. So yeah, tomorrow is boiler and all the heating stuff, and then we've got a load of wiring to do, which is all going to be good fun. So we're going to tidy up, and I will catch you in the morning. You like that, don't you? Right, we're back the next day. Rugby training last night. Beautiful. Training as well. Right. So the boys have been in this morning. We've got the old boiler that was there stripped out. Got the new jig on the wall. We had to find some studs. So we found some, so that's good. We have got our flows are all connected now already. We've got our new filling loop in. Looks like we've got our filter in. And you'll notice that we've got these in here. That's that internal diverter valve, which I will go through once I've got the boiler on the wall, and I'll go through how we do all that. So yeah, now it's just a case of let's get some pipes in, let's get it all ready to rock, get the system filled back up, all that fun stuff. So I will set you up and then I'll talk you through it once we get to some actually interesting stuff, because you've seen me pipe these up 100 times. So, but when we get to that internal diverter and that 4-pipe kit, I will talk you through it. Right then, party people. It's one of them days, isn't it? One of them days, everybody gets them. So I was literally just prepping everything to walk you through how to fit the diverter kit. And you can see I've got my 2 pipes here already. I've probably put my mounts on for my flow and return for the coil, and they're obviously all piped in before I put the boiler on. Went to go and fit the diverter valve, which basically goes in there, the same as it does on the combi. And what I managed to do, let me just see if I can pop you down for a second. So this is the diverter valve, right? So it goes in there. And what I've managed to do is, so when you get this kit, it comes with a new housing, which I've obviously thrown away in a moment of anger, because when I pulled this out of the housing to put it in, what I've done is I've snapped. Can you see that little end there? So basically there's a little pin in there. There you go, there you can see it now. And this goes over the pin like that, and I've managed to snap that. Just that tiny little bit of plastic, and that is 180 quid. So, after phoning around, God knows how many people, we found one on the shelf, which is, to be honest, it's pretty lucky, because without that, there's no way of me getting this up and running today. So, one second. Right, sorry about that. So, what I'm going to do now is, so basically it comes with a blanking plug in there, and a blanking plug in there, and then these pipes, so they've just got O-rings on them. That one goes in there like that, and then onto there, which of course is all the faff. I've lost the washer, that's fine, I've got a spare. And then this one goes in there around the back of this, so like that, and then onto that one. So I'm going to do that now, because I can do that before the divert valve gets here. When the divert valve gets here, I'll get that in, and then it drops, it plugs into that wire there. So actually super simple. And then there is basically a temperature sensor which goes in where your cylinder stat would normally go, in there, and then it's a cable and it runs all the way back and actually wires directly into the board. So when I get to that point, I will show you what we're doing. Right, Sam's back. Where's my... Whoa! Oh, Jesus, put that back on. What's going on with my hat? Hold that a second. I'm having a special moment, leave me alone. It's going to be one of those... Bro, what are you looking me up and down for? I'm not a piece of meat. Right, Sam's back. We are going to... Where's that diverter valve, Sam? Why you got to stress me out like that? Right, so this is how it comes in the housing. This is the bit that we need to take out, and in there is the bit that I snapped. I am not pulling this one out on camera. No, let's do it. So we've got split pin. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? Circlip. I've got about 6 of those now. And then I'm going to... Actually, this one's coming out a lot easier. I wonder how long that other one was on that shelf for. So it just pulls out, see? It doesn't snap. In there is that pin, that ball and socket joint thing. I ain't touching that, I'm leaving that well enough alone. Always lube your O-rings. See if we can hold it around there. Alright, and then we should just push you in. He says, really hoping to not break anything. All the way in? No. I'm not doing this with the camera on. I'll show you after. Right. So when this goes into this, just here, see a little raised bit there. That actually has a slot on it. So you think it's in, but you actually then have to twist it until you get to that point, and then it has a further click in. See? Not stressful at all. So, okay, where are we at? Excuse the wiring, I was starting to do that while I wait for Sam. So then this, literally this plug, why do they make everything so little? Just clicks into that. So that's all done. So theoretically that diverter valve is now complete. The only thing I've got to do is run the cable from the circuit board down into our cylinder stat, which is what I'm doing now. I've just started our wiring. So we're keeping the same underfloor wiring sensor, however we're changing all the stats. So we're going to put Hive minis up here. Just briefly show you this. This is the Wago wiring sensor. Wago box L32. Absolute game changer for me. So I can literally, whenever I'm doing a system like this, I always find it easier to just start again. Just cut everything out and start again, which is exactly what I've done. So I've given myself more new power lead, which is this one here, and then I can literally common all my lives, my neutrals and my earths, bring all my switch lives in over here. It's just so easy. So this is what I tend to do. I tend to rough it in and then I'll tidy it up afterwards. I just want to get everything up and running and working and all tested up. So We are now theoretically ready to fill, but I'm going to wait for Dan to get back here, so we've got 3 of us here just in case. So once Dan gets back, we will get the system filled, get it all up to pressure, and then we've got to do the flue, which shouldn't be that complicated. Famous last words. Effectively, we're just going to come out slightly and then go out through the same flue hole. So I've used that and I've traced it round, so hopefully the boiler's the right height. If not, Sam can redo it, can't you, mate?
Try to.
Yeah. Right. I'll catch up with you in a second. Right. We got there. So, obviously we're back tomorrow to tidy stuff up, and we've got all the other hives to go on, but for the time being, I've banged this hive on so that they can have heating and hot water. Wiring centre's in, underfloor heating's working, radiator circuit is working. Now the radiator circuit is going to be the same as it was, it's either on or off at the moment, because until I put those smart valves on, it's not going to have a great deal of control, but they know that, so that's fine. So other than that, she's all ready to go, as are we. Bloody long day. So we're going to just throw some bits in the van now, and then I've got a boiler breakdown to go to on the way home. Fun and games. So we'll be back here tomorrow, get all wrapped up, and I will hopefully do another little run through with you and explain what we've done. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm telling you that now, not just at the end. Man, how bad does my eye look? Oof. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Right then, party people, we are finished. Won't lie to you, this is actually a day after yesterday. I didn't film a thing yesterday because I was proper under the cosh trying to get it all finished. But we are there. We had fun connecting hives, but actually, credit where credit's due. We got it all connected. There was one thermostat, one of the underfloor thermostats would not connect to the app or to the hub. So it would control the underfloor heating fine, but customer couldn't control it from his phone or from the app. And I tried for about an hour yesterday to get it going, and of course by that point it was too late to try and call anybody or get any kind of help. So I've come back this morning. We had to reinstall the washing machine because they're going to rebuild all this in with a worktop. I think they're planning on putting a little sink on top here and maybe some cupboards. I don't know. I told him that's not what we do. So he's going to sort all of that out. So we had to come back anyway. So credit where credit's due, I phoned Hive thinking, well, I'm here for the long run, aren't I? And you know, then the whole music starts and you're like, oh God, how long am I going to be here for? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, picked up straight away, knew exactly the problem, logged into the Hive system remotely from wherever the hell she was, Scotland I think, and was like, cool, just do this, do that, take the battery out, put this battery back in, put this on that. Within 5 minutes, done. It's almost like if you know what you're doing. No, but in my defence, I think we had to put the hub back into pairing mode, and it's my understanding that if you do that, as in if I do that, it can wipe all the other stats out. And you'll see in a minute, we've got a lot of Hive. I mean, we've got, see the 8 or 9 radiator heads. We've then got the main thermostat, we've got the hot water zone, and we've got 4 underfloor heating zones, all on Hive, which is quite cool actually when you look at it on his phone, on the app. You know, the amount of control is brilliant, it really is. And I like the Hive stuff. I find it quite easy to install, and it's very easy for customers to use and get their head around, which is really all you want. So, but yeah, thank you Hive, appreciate that, very good. So let me quickly, because you're probably all bored of seeing this now, let me quickly walk through. So we've got our boiler up here. This is the 4000. This is a 27 kilowatts. I think it is something like that. 24 kilowatt. 24 kilowatt system. The beauty of doing a 4-pipe is that it's only ever running one or the other anyway. So ample kilowattage. Yes, we did do a heat loss, and this is what it came out at, and it has worked perfectly well. I will at some point make a video on doing a heat loss calc, because it is a complete pain in the arse and it takes far longer than it should, but I am coming around to the idea that it is worth doing. You know, trying to, for me, getting these efficiencies up is all about small wins. Washing machine's finished. It's all about these tiny little gains, and for me, you know, having the right boiler, having the right setup, right controls are all little gains that can add up to make a you know, a sizable difference. So that's our boiler there. Standard filter, standard fueling limp, all sorts of stuff you've seen before. If you look underneath it and you didn't see the cylinder next to me, you'd think it was a combi, right? And actually these two ports here, which are for the hot water coil, are exactly the same as a combi. And I am asking myself the question of whether there is a way, and I think I've worked it out. I think you could, if you had a combi and you wanted to just put a cylinder on it, I think the way I would do it is that I would put an inline pump on a timer. If the pump fires, it would fire the boiler, and you could theoretically do it that way. Whether that's an efficient way of doing it, I don't know. I'd have to do some research and crunch some numbers, but it did get me thinking, because I've got a combi at home and we want to put a cylinder in. So maybe I'll do it at home, make a little video out of it and see how we get on from there. So I'll keep you posted on that. But anyway, so these are our flow and returns heading to our coil. So the idea being that the boiler knows, because it's got a separate switch live, the boiler knows whether it is heating or whether it's heating hot water. And when it's heating hot water, it can go full like the clappers. And actually we did a little test on this and timed it. This is a 180 litre cylinder, and it had, I think it was 8.5 minute regen time, which is mad. And that's just because the boiler knows it wants hot water, it can just fire it out. It's also allowed us to set our heating temperature to 50 degrees. So I've explained to the customer that, you know, that's where we want it to be, that's where we've put it. But equally, I've said to him, look, if you want it a little bit hotter than that, you can do. It's not, you know, it's your house, your rules. I'm not going to sit here and tell people they have to have it at this, because I don't think that's right. I think, you know, they've spent quite a lot of money getting all this system in. There's no point doing that and then being cold. So, but he has that control now. So we've got the heating loop set down at 50. We've got our hot water set to 65 degrees, which is all controlled via this little temperature gauge in there. So that just goes in place of your cylinder thermostat, and that wires directly into the boiler, as I think I showed you earlier. So other than that, it's all pretty standard stuff. There's nothing else on here that's overly exciting. There's my wall of hive, that's perfect. 2 Wago wiring centers. This Wago wiring center has just got hives in it, so it's all the commons, all of the neutrals, all of the permanent lives, they all run into that. So that is us done here. We are going to shoot off and go and do something else. I don't know what I'm going to be doing now. I was supposed to be fitting another boiler today, but supposed to be fitting another boiler today, but it's an external, and it's done nothing but pour down with rain for 2 days. So spoke to the customer, and he was understanding. He was like, there's no point in me opening a boiler up and it getting piss wet through, and potentially ruining the insides of it. So we are going to shoot off, and I think Sam's got some taps and some toilets to work with. You'll like that, won't you, mate? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will do my best to get back to you all. And yeah, catch you in the next one.